Joining me now is Joel Prakken. He's the chairman of Macroeconomic Advisers, which helps ADP compile that employment report. Joel, thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate it. So,
thanks for having me.
I mean, should we be excited that it's a smaller number of job losses here?
Well, look, you can't be excited knowing that 169,000 Americans lost their jobs last month. But as you pointed out, the numbers are moving in the right direction in the sense that earlier this year, the job losses were close to 700,000 a month, and now they're less than 200,000 a month. And in most of the sectors that we looked at, the monthly job losses in November are the smallest since the middle of last summer. So things are at least moving in the right direction. But I can't say that I'm excited about a number that shows this many Americans out of work.
Well, when I was looking also at the different sizes of firms that you surveyed, that's what I thought was really interesting, because the biggest losses, 68,000, was in small businesses. Is that is that an alarming sign to you that those folks are doing the worst?
Well, the pattern in small business payroll employment over the last year and a half has actually been quite interesting. The historical data suggests that small businesses actually fare better in economic downturns than medium and large-sized businesses in terms of their payrolls, partly because they're in the service sector, which is not as cyclical as the goods-producing sector, and partly because they don't have as much overhead to pay in the event of a soft economy. Now, late last year, small businesses actually were holding on to their employees pretty tightly, but around the time of the Lehman demise, it seems to me that a sort of major event occurred in the minds of small business owners. I think they realized that financing was going to get a lot tighter, and maybe the recession was deep enough that the holiday season wouldn't bail them out. And at about that time, small businesses started cutting back on employment pretty aggressively, and in a sense have been playing a catch-up to the job cuts that have been already administered by the medium and larger-sized firms.
I'm sorry, Julie, go ahead.
So, I'm sorry, is this a trend that we have then seen month after month, that they're steeper on the small end?
Well, early in the recession, no.
I mean more
later,
recently.
Yeah, later in the recession, it has in fact turned that way. Now, I expect that as the economy improves and employment finally starts to rise, that what you'll see is a pretty nice recovery in small business employment.
Joel, it's interesting, though, because you see at least some signs of life, at least a heartbeat in manufacturing, housing, and other parts of the economy, and you still see, as you mentioned, Americans out of work. What gives?
Well, it is important to remember that employment is a lagging indicator of economic growth. That is,
and we do hear that a lot, but it's not a lagging indicator for those millions of Americans who are out of work.
No, it's definitely not. But the way to think about it is this: that technically the recession is over because now GDP is expanding, but the turn in employment is going to lag the turn in GDP. By several months, six or 7 months, I would say. Okay. Furthermore, in order to get positive job growth, robust job growth, GDP has to be growing faster than its long-run secular trend, which is probably somewhere around 3%. And so we don't expect to see that kind of growth in the economy until the first half of next year.
Right.
And so my best estimate here is that you won't see positive numbers for payroll employment until February or March of 2010.
Joel, we just got the Beige Book report at the top of the hour, which says economic conditions have improved modestly, talked about hiring around the country as well. Is that pretty much in line with what you're seeing in the employment report, even though, as you say, employment's going to pick up more slowly?
Yeah, I think that it is. We know from tracking GDP at the monthly frequency that we're 3 or 4 months now into a rise in GDP, but it's not been a robust rise, and it's been spotty geographically, and it's been spotty by industry. So some improvement across regional economies noted in the Beige Book, I think, is entirely consistent with the headline numbers for GDP that we look at.
Joel Prakken, thanks a lot for joining us. Joel is with Macroeconomic Advisers.